Welcome to Sexuality and Truth with Phil Lees, the podcast where we uncover the realities of youth, sex, and the impact of cultural norms. Today, we're diving into a powerful and often overlooked topic. Episode 3, The Nurturing Vessel. In a culture that downplays or distorts the beauty of the female body, how can we recapture the truth about a woman's divine design and her sacred role in carrying life? Join us as we explore the female reproductive system, not just in terms of biology, but as a rhythmic, purposeful design that silently prepares to nurture life every single month. Together, we'll discover how the womb speaks of strength, order, and divine intent, and why that message is more needed than ever. Now, let's get into today's episode.
Here's something that will blow your mind. Every single human life begins in a space smaller than a grain of salt, yet that microscopic environment contains one of the most sophisticated biological systems we've ever studied.
That's such a fascinating way to think about it. And what really gets me is how this tiny space is part of this larger, precisely timed system that prepares itself month after month.
You know what's incredible? The female reproductive system maintains this state of readiness through roughly 450 cycles over a lifetime. That's like running a complex factory that resets and recalibrates itself perfectly hundreds of times.
And each of those cycles involves such intricate timing. The way the hormones surge and ebb, the precise release of the egg, the preparation of the uterine lining. It's like this biological symphony.
Well, speaking of symphonies, recent research shows that a developing baby can actually recognize musical patterns and their mother's voice as early as 16 weeks. The womb isn't just a physical space, it's literally their first classroom.
That's exactly what makes this so fascinating. And you know what surprised me? Studies show that babies can even learn to recognize specific songs played during pregnancy and remember them after birth.
Right? And here's something even more mind-blowing. During pregnancy, up to 10% of the baby's DNA can be found circulating in the mother's bloodstream, and some of it can remain there for decades. It's like this permanent biological connection that forms.
Oh wow, I had no idea about that DNA connection. So what does that tell us about the long-term relationship between mother and child?
Well, researchers have found that this fetal DNA can actually help protect the mother from certain diseases later in life. It's like the child gives back to the mother even before being born. And get this, the mother's body can produce specific antibodies in breast milk within hours of her baby being exposed to a pathogen.
The level of responsiveness is just incredible. And it really challenges this modern notion that these processes are somehow primitive or need to be overcome.
You know, that's such an important point, because when we look at the numbers, the precision is staggering. The uterus can expand up to 500 times its normal size during pregnancy. The body produces 50% more blood volume, and the brain actually restructures itself to prepare for parenthood.
That kind of adaptation is remarkable. And what about the way the body produces exactly the right type of nutrition for the baby after birth?
Exactly. Breast milk actually changes its composition throughout the day. Morning milk has different hormones than evening milk, and it can contain up to 1,000 different protein types. The complexity is just, it's honestly humbling.
You know what really strikes me? How this incredible system influences the next generation even before birth. The epigenetic effects are fascinating.
Let me share something about those epigenetic effects. Studies show that a mother's stress levels during pregnancy can influence their child's stress response system for life. But here's the hopeful part. Positive experiences during pregnancy can also create beneficial epigenetic changes.
That really shows how the mother's body isn't just a passive vessel, but an active participant in shaping the next generation.
And you know what's fascinating about that shaping? The womb environment influences everything from taste preferences to language acquisition. Babies actually show a preference for foods their mothers ate during pregnancy.
The implications of that are pretty amazing when you think about cultural transmission and human development.
As we wrap up today, I think it's worth reflecting on how this understanding transforms our perspective. We're not just talking about biology, we're talking about the foundation of human experience.
That's such a powerful way to frame it. And I hope our listeners come away with a deeper appreciation for these incredible processes that make life possible.
Until next time, keep wondering at the remarkable complexity that makes us who we are. And remember, every single one of us started our journey in that tiny space smaller than a grain of salt.
That's it for today's episode of Sexuality and Truth with Phil Lees. We hope this conversation has deepened your appreciation for the incredible design of the female body and the sacred role women play in the creation and nurturing of life. Thanks for joining us in this meaningful journey to rediscover the wisdom written into our biology. Don't forget to check the description of this episode for the link to our full podcast series at peaceontario.com/podcast, where you can access all episodes of The Silent Language of Life. And be sure to join us next time for episode 4, The Meeting Point, where we'll explore the powerful moment of fertilization, the union of sperm and egg, and how that marks the beginning of a new, unique human life. If you found today's message valuable, please share it with friends, parents, educators, and church leaders. Every voice that spreads truth helps shape a culture that honors life and purpose. Until next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and keep listening to the silent language of life.